as your glory fills this place, your love we will embrace. It's only for you. And I belong to you forever. I belong to you. I belong to you forever. I belong to you. And I belong to you forever. I belong to you. And I belong rescued the world. This is our God.
Hey, welcome again to another Vintage City Group session. I just wanted to tell you again how much I love the commitment you make to do life together in groups, and we've been doing this for a couple years now, and I hope you can say like me, you're growing in intimacy with people and learning just what it is to do life together, and I think it's a great thing. Hey, we're going to be in Proverbs 8 this week for real, because last time I told you that I was actually in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, which is really funny and embarrassing. So I will just tell you the truth of how that happens. I opened my Bible and I thought I had been studying in Ecclesiastes and I thought I was in Proverbs. So there you go. Here's what I do love about it though. I think it was a really important teaching for us. So there was some good revelation for me about just reminding myself what it is to be a man under authority. And you know, like Jay LaRue's here right now. I've been teaching this last couple weeks, and that's a guy that I've submitted my life to. And you know, there was several things while he was here. One of their jobs as overseers is they come and they kind of inspect our lives and they coach us. And so it was interesting for me to just have come off that word and to be challenged freshly to be a man under authority, and to not be to just give him room to speak into my life, and understanding that for me it was a good reminder. The evidence that I'm a man of wisdom is that I can be under authority. And so I hope you took that away as well. So this week we're going to be in Proverbs 8, and so I'm going to take a break here, and I want to ask you guys to just read that passage. If you want to read it aloud, great. If you want to read it to yourself, just read Proverbs chapter 8, and then we're going to come back together, and I'm going to teach a couple ideas out of that. Okay, hey, so you just had a chance to read Proverbs chapter 8, and I want to talk a few minutes about what I would call wisdom's request. You know, it opens up with wisdom talking about crying out and all the different places around the city that she's crying out. And here Solomon's typifying wisdom as a woman who, and I think the reason that is he's talking about this nurturing aspect of wisdom. Now I want to go back and study this idea of wisdom for a second. Again, reminding us, wisdom is just us learning to live life from God's perspective. And so Solomon's typifying wisdom as this woman crying out, this nurturing, caring, protecting woman crying out. And what she's really saying is, please listen to me. Please listen to me. Why? It's going to go better for you if you do. And so for us to be wise people, we must learn to live from God's perspective. Easy enough to think through. But I love that Solomon doesn't just state that. He gives us some really clear things that we can do, and I want to go through those really quickly. Number one, we choose to listen. Wisdom will cry out but won't come to us and make us learn. There has to be an intentionality in us that we're hungry to learn from wisdom. We're hungry to appropriate wisdom. Secondly, we choose to act. Wisdom won't make our choices for us. Wisdom won't force us to do things well. All of us have been alive long enough to know that we've made some wise choices and some unwise choices in life. So what does it look like to choose to listen and to choose to act? I think it's really simple. I think it deals with our attitude towards the Lord's voice, whether that is through our intimacy time with Him in prayer or whether it's through the Word. One of the things I love most about Ezra, the book of Ezra, is that here Ezra is a man presented to us as a scribe who knows the text and a priest who has a passion for the presence of God. And it's this life together that we all have to have. I think sometimes some of us get a little, we're just really into the intimacy side, we want to hang out with Jesus, or others, we're just really into the Word. There must be, for wisdom to really be ours, there needs to be a coupling of those two things, where we get alone with the Lord daily, we're studying the text, we're learning how to live the way He's told us to live in Scripture, and then we're allowing His voice to whisper into ours, to tweak things in us. And when we choose that, what we're doing is we're choosing to listen and we're choosing to act. So I'm going to go get with the Lord. That's my choice, to listen. I'm going to actually discipline myself to be alone with Him. And then I'm going to leave that time and put that life into action. I'm going to leave that time and put the things that He's teaching me into action. That's my choosing of instruction, which is how Solomon will say it. And there, later on in chapter 8, there's a couple phrases that I wanted to highlight. I love all those who love me. And it goes all the way down. It says, for I was born before the oceans. There's another phrase that says, happy are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates. And I want to give you this. When we choose wisdom, what we're really choosing is Jesus. Because here in this entire chapter, what Solomon does is basically typifies Jesus. And just says, you think about it. In there you read, I was the architect at His side. I was born before the oceans were formed. We're talking about Jesus and the Father being together. And so then we have to look at this verse and say, it's Jesus who's crying out to us regularly. Pay attention to me. Learn from me. I want to help your life. Why? Because He wants us to have successful lives. He wants us to kill it. He wants us to be people full of His grace and His presence in our city, in our day, in our time. He wants us at work being great employees. He wants us having great marriages. But in order for that to happen, He must have a voice in our life. We must choose to listen, and we must choose the actions that He's giving us. So I guess all in all, what I'm calling us to is to a disciplined encounter with Him. Let's be people that daily sit at His gates. We're daily setting aside time to be with Him, and we're putting that life into action. So we're no longer just trying to make it or wing it. We're now allowing Him to govern our lives and guide us. I said this about 4 weeks ago, and I want to highlight it again. Jesus makes this statement. Jesus says, I only do what I see the Father do, and I only say what I hear Him say. In other words, even though He was a man full of ideas, full of thoughts and passions and maybe actions He wanted to take, He was willing to discipline Himself to say, I will be found before the Father, and I'll just do what I see Him doing, and I'll say what I hear Him saying. I want us to be those kind of people. Love you guys. Have a great night.